Sonnet Mondal. I'd like to request Dr. K. Srinivasa Rao, the Secretary of Sahitya Academy, to present the guest with a packet of academic publications. Sophia. Shri Sonnet Mondal. Let me introduce our guest, right? Ms. Sophia is a California-based eminent bilingual poet, essayist, author, editor and translator, has been nominated twice for the Pushkar Prize in 2016 for creative nonfiction and in 2018 for poetry. Her work has been translated into languages as diverse as Hungarian and Bengali, featuring in numerous literary journals including Poetry International, Rotterdam, Chicago Quarterly Review, Scroll, Guptagu, Cold Noon, the Bangalore Review, Madras Courier, and many more. Her poetry collections include Peripheries, Pointillism, and Gate Bombs. Her latest book is Leela, a poetry photography in collaboration with Troy Payne, a Colorado-based naturalist photographer. Shri Sonnet Mondal, English poet and literary editor, has authored 5 books of poetry, the latest being Karmic Chanting and Ink and Line. He has been published across Asia, Europe, Australia, and North America. His recent works have appeared in the Kyoto Journal, Rockford Street Review, McNeese Review, Irish Examiner, World Literature Today, Words Without Borders, Indian Literature, and Asia Literary Review. His works have been translated into Hindi, Italian, Slovenian, Hungarian, Spanish, Portuguese, Slovak, Turkish, Macedonian, and Arabic. He is the editor-in-chief of the Enchanting Verses Literary Review, editor of Indian section of Lyric Line Berlin, and guest editor for Poetry at Sangam, India, and Words Without Borders, New York. Now I would like to request Ms. Sophia to read her poems.
The first time he played an Allahabadi Amrud open, offered you a wound pink cheek with an unforgettable fragrance. That is when you knew the tenor of your hunger, what it means to come back, take a bite out of your own lost history. Thank you. This is called pecking order. Your ears ripened early in the glare of the clucking, reminded constantly that merely being alive was no less than a miracle, because 1400 years ago you would have been buried alive. And how is that different from this you wanted to blurt? It held your tongue, bitten and hidden like everything else. It is always and only then, because they rule the roost, your father and brother and gangly maid cousins and their Adam-appled friends, allowed to express their hungers. For them, the choice cuts, the breasts and legs, and for you, the throttled neck, so crisply twisted and snapped at the butchers. One time you won a wishbone, along with it a pitying look. Siblings belonged to other countries. You had an immediate overlord. Nonetheless, you slept with a bone like an incomplete heart, an interrupted sentence under your tear-damp pillow. What was the talisman meant to do? The next morning, the sheets were stained with blood. You were 11 years old. The trees are forbidden, as is the cricket match on the street, as is running on the lawn, because who will be watching? There is always someone watching. The world is made of eyes. You are made of cotton and paws. Day is made of full stops. Nights are off the record. This is called in the margins. At the barber shop, vintage model airplanes made out of beer cans hang from the ceiling, suspended in time. I recognize the tiger moth circa World War II. The same plane my mist-blinded father crashed in 1969, nose down in the fragrant tea gardens outside Silhouette, slipping 3 discs on his lower back. The pain would come when least expected. Keeping memory fresh, it was I who would bend to pick up his dropped papers, thread his rambling thoughts, scribble my own, silently all the while, in the margins. This is called Chapanchuri. The jilted's 56 stabbings could not kill Janki Bai, thereafter known as Chapanchuri. When I type churi, autocorrect is also a stab at language, giving me the option of cherry, char, sherry, churn, churl, chi, and occasionally char. A conjoined cup I sip, walk a tightrope of English, Urdu, 1 foot in each bone chini. My lines are burning fiercely, like Janki, each wound giving me a brand new mouth. This is called the United States of Amnesia. Welcome to the United States of Amnesia, where the average attention span is an albatross around the neck of history, drowning in largesse of half-gaff mocha frappuccino. At every other corner, 9/10 of teeth submerge in this melting pot, Super Bowl of guillotined Halloween, cropped and photoshopped to the depth, and the bell crows, a clockwork orange. Clones and minions man the phones, ringing off the hook like an armless pirate with his peddling finger on the Twitter, out to abduct you, only lonely immigrant child, America. This illegal election year, unlike any other in living erasure. Welcome to the dystopian states of amnesia, to the gloom of the homeless underpasses, to the panhandling flutes drowned out in the tropics of the nocturnal subterranean. Washed up on your shores like a bottle with a pent-up ocean in my bladder, memory is the only currency I hold. The infected blankets up into the light, I know the smell of genocide. I have watched women shamed as witches, watched them fall like dominoes on a Salem loom. I have met Sally Hemings and the strange fruit of your history, America. I have fallen in your uncivil war for 1001 episodes. This beast you thought you tamed, he prowls the profiled knight wearing police uniform. Beneath your polar indifference, a glacial, racial ice age is dying, unseen below decks, in red bullet points, in blue moans, while a white sea sails on. I'd also like to, I'm just coming from Bhavan, which is my maternal ancestral home, and since it's December, this marks the 34th anniversary of the Bhopal gas catastrophe. catastrophe, which is still the worst industrial disaster known to mankind. And so I'd like to read it. And by the way, I am a witness and survivor of that same disaster. It's called The Taste of Cyanide. Bhopal, December 3rd, 1984. You awoke with the low glow of chemical chilies burning a bellow in your lungs. By then, the wings of rumor were a soiled nightmare, the taste of cyanide in the air, eyes, wells of memory poisoned. Where is Isa this evening? Bhopal station is a cross between partition and Holocaust. Tens of thousands gassed, gasping for a tide of undivided air. Hang in open gallows, above, below, between, hooked, crannied, crammed, grandmothers ladling wooden infants, grown men, slipping on the steps of hell, who stumbled in pools of drowning. At Maghrib prayers, night comes with no answers. The lone moon, a bloodied, lidless eye, unable to blink, unable to die. This one is dedicated to the Indian American poet who's been a great influence in my life, Sahitya. It's called Question. Shahid, you said never to write that word, soul. So, how to explain porous anatomy, that atomic stinging, stringing of placeless name and pendulum, a minstrel wandering to possess crux of displacement, to sing, to singe, to scribe the empty full stop of what is already shed, the skin peeled, garnered into piles, dirt to earth, dull eyes slowly closing. How to say this? How to aim the quiver of your coming? In Urdu, next of kin to invisible, the hair that stands arrow straight from end to end is Rome. Perhaps that is where the root passes, like the wind in the spaces between places, wearing only the sky, naked as a question. This is called Ode to a Scar. Lonely signpost. Most days I turn away from you, avert my gaze. Who wants to dwell on unloveliness, tether? Yet there is an undertow in the welting, the warp and weft that knits, written on the body, its poundage betrayed, liberty of missive, missile. Sacred scar, I wanted to interpret you like a dream, leisurely, like one would unwind a gauze-wrapped heirloom, interrupted flesh. But you became a cheeky meteor, shooting scar, firing fusillades of synapses. Now, geography, history, and memory burn within your crossbones, scar. On the surface, you recede to a whisper. It is only in the unseen caverns of my cheek that you howl like a wolf at the many wounds of my teeth. Okay, I think I will read one earlier book, which is called this. This is called Lineage. Before you were born, she skimmed your boundary, mother of all stripes, linea negra, a lean line, simple as the clean cut that popped you, squeak and clip of two signature lines. Cradled in timber, the line you shape, skipping scribble float the moldy, twisting your naughty air to still the bay made slender, letter boat anchored by a single nukta. Slowly, you were made to form the keel ka faqir, the line that would fill your life as water does a glass. This much was clear, must memorize, repeat line after line. No loving in this repeating, which brings us to lineage, conundrum at hand. Look under the womanhood. The line you must not cross is given, circumscribed. It hems you in from head to toe. The line as manual, precipice, edge, abyss, endless delineation of knots become crosses. Ash Wednesdays before it weathers, season after season. Read and unread lines are everywhere. Demarcations of otherness, the puzzled dashes of word processes, helpless to corral Alif Laila under their spell. When the line fell in love, it became a couplet. Radif and Khafia eloped ghazal, that briefest of springs lingering in between the margins. Even as the line stops galloping, on the electric page above the hospice bed, slumps two side elbows, becomes the four lines of the coffin, a quatrain from whose walls there is no escape, only passage. I cannot go over my time. I don't know how much time I have. The name of this book is called Peripheries. This is the first book I published. Okay, so then I will read one more. This is called Gulmohar. Somewhere in her city by the sea, rains have fallen, all at once, like a tongue long held, spilled a torrent of love and hate and curses, loud enough to wake the dead, shivering in their waterlogged graves. Somewhere in her city by the sea, rains have fallen on keepers of arboreal wisdom. That delicate filigree of long-necked acacias, listening to the sky, has tattered, has scattered orange anagrams on the swages of street rivers. The water noising like 1,000 tongues. Somewhere in a city by the sea, rains have fallen. Cold is a secret in a lost child's clenched palm. The rain has taken, as the sun did before her, and the hunger before them, blooming. Yes, death, but also life. The air, cool as a morning storm, frogs jumping in exclamation points, the sweet scent of earth's yielding. Somewhere in her city by the sea, rains have fallen, left a damp exhale she wears like a moth-eaten shawl on her shoulders. I just read one last poem, and how much time it is? I read Sonnet, we also read. Okay. called Epitaph. Dear maker of mirrors, sculpt me an epitaph from a grain of sand. Weave its winding bandages into line lengths finer than gravel and coarser than silt into the arboreal symmetry of my tangling. Wrap me in its ribbons of seaweed shroud, as if I was a blind dolphin murdered in the silting mudbags of the Indus. Even the river has become a beggar, fingers damned and amputated at the cusp of kissing the mouth of her Mahasagar. Bury me in her remaining rags of mangroves. There are no more days of night left under the neem tree. The monsoon has abandoned the city. Only the mournful signboards of Chinese dentists remain standing. Hoardings among hordes crack. The malnourished buffaloes keep chewing and chewing. Death is made of plastic milk diluted with effluent. Were you expecting me to write another lyric made of tinsel? To open and close chapters as if I were an orphan pine cone constantly weighed in the hexagram of changing light? No. No matter how many years will pass, the wind will die at the edge of the slum. Her funeral will have no feet, but will hang endlessly, laundry on the clotheslines that you never cross. Her corpse will smell like the rot of 1,000 corrupt officials. She will always remain a migrant from the furthest reaches of your mind, weaving a story by day and unraveling it at night. You will lull each other to sleep, pretending iridescence is kerosene, yet another bauble rubbed and rubbled in the graveyards of meaning. Dear maker of mirrors, sculpt me an epitaph from a grain of sand. I am ready to write my obituary now, to consign its scissored words to the open wounds of the wind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nance. We would now like to request Mr. Sonnet Mondal to read out a few poems.
Thanks to Sahitya Akademi and Dr. Rao for inviting me today here.
You should take off.
I will read a few of my poems from my latest book, Karmic Chanting. And everywhere I start with this poem, it is called From Tushar's Apartment. He is kind of my best friend, and also he had a beautiful apartment in Malabar Hills, Mumbai, and from where I wrote this poem. It was just beside the Arabian Sea. So, from Tushar's apartment. A staple flute pushes me, and a drunken gale retaliates. My life, like a stranded kite, drifts between the melodious and the mysterious. Nature gazes like a winsome stranger, strolling, dancing, jumping like the boughs of Bengal. The chirrups of mystic birds ride on the chariot of the sea, pulled to the shore by its horses. Thoughts in an intercourse with naked waves scream of a world lost in lust. The hypnotism of the inconclusive charms me into the grey of pregnant clouds and pensive waves. In front of paradoxical nature sounds, I realize my mind is heavier than my soul. What seemed impossible was always possible. Dear nature, I wonder if I should marry you or keep you as an escort. The next poem is from my childhood, The Lost Mango Tree. The mango tree which I reared is lost today, somewhere in the jungle of my wishes. I used to throw whole mangoes in our backyard to see them grow up into trees. not a single leaf sprouted, except from a half-eaten one. After watering it in its infancy, I became engrossed, whining and dining with my life. After years today, a mangrove in our backyard shaded my memories from the hard sun of forgetfulness. I wish I had left myself to the charity of wildness. I would like to read this poem. This is just a 2-lines poem, which was initially a 40-lines poem. And pruning, it became 2-lines poem at first because I found the soul line in just these 2 lines. So the name of the poem is Why.
There are 38 lines.
I will email you if I have. Why? Why does life seem like the skyline impression of an aircraft? And so the next poem is dedicated to my grandma, who just passed away 2 months ago at the age of 99. And so it's dedicated to her. So grandma, the flowers are moving. She must have whispered something to them. The waters are murmuring. She must have shown them a path. I lie on my knees, mystified beside her bed, waiting for her to speak and deliver me from my despair. The wrinkled skin pressed against the edge of an old cot hands out to touch my forehead. Grandma is not dead, her spirit is. I am being killed by her annoy and her feeble longing to walk again. Neither am I dying, nor her languor. Reflections as skipping stones are leaping over my melancholy. Why do I feel all my years getting locked in a second? This is another short poem. The name of the poem is Locked. Sometimes the iron in a lock must be thinking, why was I molded into something as such? A life that came with boldness got swept into isolation by the tongue of a melancholic rust, hanging like a slave to the will of the key and fingers. Next poem is Journey. By and by, life would pass like this, flying like a vagrant kite at night. Earlier, I used to tour inside my mind, sometimes with my mind into others. Then I thought my body should also tour, hence I tour with both of them now. When my bones start forsaking me, I would still tour inside my mind and count my days of travel, looking at the curve of my shadow. I would shift to some 2 poems from Syria. I was in Istanbul last year when I wrote this, not last year, in 2016, when these Aleppo bombings took place, and I wrote these poems there. So first one is dedicated to the Syrian children. To Syrian children, you are all culpable for wending your way to schools, for going to hospitals, for playing in open spaces, and for keeping at your dreams within a country in rags. Yes, you never knew you would be going down with a fever that would burn your flesh into a universal white fume blooming in newspapers. But living up the carcasses now. You wanted to be in suits like Putin or Trump? Look, what have you ended up with? The sweat of literate talks in a ground of experimentation. The handsome presidents have osculated you a goodbye. Now burn yourselves completely, or they would light cigarettes out of you, blaming you for the cancer rampant in the air. Don't let yourselves be counted. History will be framed without you, vanish with the fumes, and transform into water. It will fulfill your hope of staying away from fire and your desire to wash blind eyes. Unborn ones, please retreat to your mother's wombs. The guns are booming outside. Wait till they have the ear to celebrate your first cry. Another poem on Syria. Nobody speaks of you, Syria. You have shrunk to a handful of wet dust, wet from tears and rapacious semen. The heralds look at you as a whore, and your screams have no walls to enclose their echoes. All have fallen. Your ovaries are dead, your ribs have turned into razors, wiping out your sentiments. The bullets you have consumed have rusted inside your womb and stained the color of your blood. Civilization looks as blank as a dry river that doesn't thirst for rain. Somewhere in your ruins, hope peeps like a thief through the broken tooth of a child smiling at a broken tank. Through her eyes, you look so lean, Syria, but your history is getting fat. Through your eyes, you look so lean, Syria, but your history is getting fat. It is difficult to find out poems from a book, especially when you have not seen it properly after it came out. So I can find two poems here I would like to read. Asides. These are just four small thoughts. When I die, you wonder about the time I was dying. 2. Sometimes you cross a road without knowing, and then you know it was there. 3. When old leaves fall, trees celebrate the space for the new. 4. When I am here, there is a world locked inside me, and when I am gone, my world would roam the earth. Now, coming back to two poems, maybe these are the last two poems I would read. I read about my grandma, so I would read another poem on my grandpa. Dadaji. The birds were returning home in the backdrop of an amber sky. Some kites were circling above their newly built nests. My house has always been a landmark for whom the whole sky was one path. Watching them yesterday from a caged balcony, I was thinking of my Dadaji, his image clear enough to lead me through forests, through stories and surprises. I had a strange joy in my infancy, sitting in hutments with him, throughout the houses, overlooking lush paddies, awaiting the clean sunny smell of stacked hay. Today morning, Dadaji visited me uninformed. Leaving the doorstep, he held me by my shoulders. You aren't that little child anymore, you won't come running behind. I stood bidding by. He smiled, still aesthetic in his 90s. Above, birds flew in an ultramarine sky to start their day. We are the same. Our priorities have indeed shifted their course. And this is the last poem dedicated to my maternal house. Once upon a time it was very vibrant when we used to visit, like when I was a child, but now I can just see a pair of doors flapping, and nobody to wait at the doorstep. So the name of the poem is No One to Wait at the Doorstep. This door is a forlorn boat of nostalgia. I could see it from the clay path leading to my maternal village. The screeching sounds of the wooden planks, balancing upon the still and deep waters of the past, were voices in the wilderness warning me against stepping into it. Somewhere on the other side, the smells of bygone days rode on the shoulders of old strolling breezes from the last windfall of the village mangrove. Sleepy summer afternoon sounds talked me out of smelling them further. They were all there moments ago. The moments have outgrown my hope. And now, as I stand to visit my grandpa, I can hear the loom rushing across a pair of flapping doors with no one to wait at the doorstep. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our poets here. If anybody has any questions, you can ask them now. We have some 10 minutes. No questions. Observations.
Comments?
Observations.
Appreciation.
It's a request to Sophia. I know you are not here to read from your future work, but could you sort of read something very short so as we know, like a sneak preview?
Yes.
Like this. I think that would be great too.
I'd love to read a sneak preview. In fact, when I finished reading, I realized I'd forgotten to do that. So let me do that. So this is from a book called Zero Period. And it's called Zero Grounds. One morning, zero grounds. One morning you wake up to the news that the moon has been kidnapped and all the stops have been pulled out with pliers like teeth from a political prisoner's mouth. Each sentence runs into another, unhindered by any giving pause, raising alarms or arms in the air, trampled all over a feeble why. What have I done? Wrong. You are wrong, fully incarcerated now. You and you have no way out. The windowless jail cell you could not know. All the stops were lined up in rows of blank sameness, silent as skull bones, geometry of unmarked gravestones.
And that would you please read the poem that Garcha translated some time ago?
That was Tushar's poem.
He posted that poem on
That was
Facebook.
Tushar's poem.
Huh?
That was
Tushar.
Tushar.
Oh,
Sure, he translated.
I actually, Sonnet, I don't know if you carry that book, Sukrita and you did together, which is a book of paintings and sketches by Sukrita Kumar, and you did the poetry part, right? So I don't know if you have the book. Maybe you could read 2 short poems or 1 short.
Unfortunately, I don't have the book.
You don't have the book. You don't know by heart.
I am very bad at that, remembering poems.
Memorize.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like the book is, I would like to say, it's the book name of the book is Incan Line, and it comprises of paintings by Sukrita Kumar and poems by me. And if you see the paintings and poems together, they would complement each other. If you see them differently, they are good to stand alone too. So the name of the book is Incan Line, and it's unfortunate that I couldn't carry it. I was in a hurry to come here.
What is the name of the book?
Ink and line.
You don't have it on your phone or somewhere? Any other books, no?
I think I wrote that.
Well, if people don't mind, I forgot to read the title poem of Pointillism. So if you have 50 more seconds, I'll read that. So Pointillism is a hybrid word I made up out of pointillism, of course, is the style of painting, but I turned it into pointillism. Pointillism, of course, is magic. So,
You should probably read it.
Yes. Yeah.
pointillism.
What is the meaning of the title of the book?
It is the name. It's the title poem. Yes.
What is the meaning?
What is the meaning?
Yeah.
Okay, so the meaning of it is, it's like a double entendre. So that point, it could be any point on a geographical map.
Okay.
It is also, it's both a noun and a verb. You know, it's like, it also means like pointing to something. So the idea behind naming pointillism is that by the virtue of language, one can generate a kind of map that pulls disparate geographies together, and it kinds of creates like a picture, like pointillism.
Show the
like
cover, no? It's okay. Show the cover.
Show the cover.
So
I thought it was connecting point.
Thank you. Yes, it's language is like it's like connecting dots, you know. So
That's the magic. Yes.
that is the magic part. Language is the agent that
It's
connects.
a new
that.
energy.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, now I'm going to quickly find it in the.
See?
Pointillism. Shot is a collective term for small balls. The diavolo is the most common. Its rapid fire explodes hundreds of pellets from a single point and shoot. Soft shell of his body sieved into unreadable brain. In film negatives, light is dark. Here is your ticket to the theatre of opposites. Hole punched like a staple to memo, back to back, the black. Stars light up the night skies of Kashmir, maps of occupation made flesh. Pulled the trigger. It was then that you joined the dots of death and came to a point-blank conclusion. Now, you are a diviner of voodoo words, orisha of pushpins, barbs, skewers to impale at pen point. The lifelong timelines of lies, not just there, but here and here. Outrage is borderless, the way it possesses, like love or fire. Zoom into the blind spot. This is the beginning of your pointillism, the sharp-tongued end to your means.
बोलिए आप.
Sophia, you are also a painter.
Yes.
So how far is your poetry influenced by your own paintings?
Well, there are two different fields of expression, but I think that, well, I tell stories with paintings, abstract stories. The painting's very abstract, and I paint with words. I don't know. It's synesthesia. I actually didn't end up going to art school. I had a scholarship to go to art school, but because of political reasons, my father was pushed out by General Zia during the coup, so he was jobless and my brother was in college. So in spite of having a scholarship to art school, I had to end up going to work at the age of 19. So I could have very well become an artist instead. But so I'm self-taught, whether it's art or poetry or pretty much anything. I just taught myself. Poetry, I mean, if you read, you can teach yourself. And if you have eyes, you can teach yourself.
Say, given a choice, I've seen poets, Indian poets especially, poets who were born in South Asia and then they migrate to a Western country. Their heart is still somewhere in the country
Right.
that they left.
Yes.
What would be a place where you would like to die? Would it be in India? Die in the sense where, of course, they would like to
Wow.
be made immortal. That's a better way to.
Well, I don't know who has seen immortality. I think the body is mortal, but words live on. So, I don't know. I think if I had a choice, I'd like to wander whatever is left of this dying planet. And I don't know. I don't know that I'd want to die in India or maybe I'd like to die in a remote place that I hadn't seen before. I think that, the world is so small now, but as long as you have language is the only home that I possess, that any of us really possess. I mean, I guess many of you possess homes that are very much, but when you're geographically displaced, I think that language requires a great amount of importance. So I think the language is something that I carry with me. So in that sense, I just carry home with me. So it doesn't really matter. Geography doesn't matter anymore.
You don't have a specific village or city in mind?
Well, I was born in Karachi, and I do have an affection for it, but it's the city that it is now, it's no longer that city. In a sense that I think, I don't know whoever it was, said you can never go home again. But even as a child, my father was a doctor in Yanni, so we moved around every 2 years from place to place. So displacement is the constant. And even in at age of 20, I was in Thailand, so I lived there also. There I moved around quite a bit as well. And then before that I was in high school in Malta, so Europe. And then moving all over in America, Canada, I lived in Canada for a while, so,
You also write poems in Urdu.
I do write poems in Urdu, yes.
Why haven't you published any books so far in Urdu?
I actually have. There is an anthology called Roshniya. It's published, when it is Urdu Hindi, it's like the script is different.
Maybe it should be made available in India also.
It's published out of India by Tasneef Haider. Roshniya, it's an anthology of women poets. So I was so happy that there was a poet that recently passed away, Fahmida Riaz. She's in the same anthology. I was completely thrilled to be published alongside her and many other prominent.
And is there an overlap between your English and Urdu poems?
No, there isn't an overlap because I choose Urdu to write what I really cannot express in English. And really though the bulk of my writing, because I lived in 30 years abroad, but the sonic beauty of Urdu, I think it's unparalleled. I'm still in love with Urdu, and I still do write in Urdu because so much of the language exists purely for sonic pleasure, ऐसी की तैसी कर देंगे. This doesn't exist in English, and if it does exist, it's rare. And but a lot of, actually, you could say there is the newer work, I am experimenting, like I read Chaka and Chuli, that does engage in a certain way because there is an unexplored territory of double entendre, because something can mean one thing in another language. So to explore that cusp, it's a kind of way of giving privilege to the people who are bilingual. So if you are bilingual, you will understand that poem in a different level than the person who is monolingual. So maybe it's my revenge on colonialism. You know. So yes, in a way that you're right. It does. There is some overlap. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. You know.
So that in your poems there is a big sense of loss. So what you have lost and what you could make out of it. So there seems to be a particularly in family poems, which I also wrote some family poems. So there seems a kind of tension, kind of friction between the loss and what you could make out of it. So could you please somehow light?
The thing is, when you have a sorted life, I believe, then you get some chance to think about the other aspects of life. So on one part, my life is a bit sorted, and after 12, when I start writing, I keep on thinking about my past, and my upbringing has been like in the villages of Bengal, like Birbhum, the district of Birbhum and all, but it is like presently, I rarely get a chance to go to those places. And but I often remember my childhood, how I used to pass, like maybe running behind cows sometimes, cow herds, and these paddy fields and all. But it has become so rare now. Like even if I want, I have to travel a long distance to them. So I try to capture those moments in my poems. And maybe the sense of loss gets highlighted sublimely through it.
In the English poetry being written in India, there was a time when poets like Rabindra would describe his father's result or something elite, like his father's result in the toilet. So now, do you think that Indian poetry in English has come a long way, and now it has started describing what experiences the real Indian experience, that is you say village experience or the very down-to-earth experience?
I think it has come a long way, because if I see the scenario around at present, there are a lot of Indian poets writing in English. At least people are taking interest in Indian English poetry. If I go back 10 years, then I think the situation was quite different. And now in every city, like I have been touring with my book to few cities, and everywhere I could see like a lot of people coming and taking interest in Indian English poetry. So I think so, but maybe as these things, the sense of loss might not be the theme everywhere. Love is a great theme among youngsters, which is also okay. And sometimes like there are poets who use these elements of nostalgia or melancholy in their poems. So I cannot just point out certain poets are like this, but I think the situation is much better. And also many Indian English poets are traveling outside nowadays and getting published worldwide. So situation has changed. It is getting better day by day.
Thank you, Mr. Mondal. Ms. Naz?
I have the question for both the poets, like for two questions for both the poets. One is to Sophia. I had reviewed Pointillism, and I have always felt that your poems are very political.
Yes.
Like even so, how self-conscious are you of that? and the other is Sonnet. This is the first time I'm meeting him, and I always wonder, is this a name that you took yourself, or were you given this name by your parents? And if they gave you the name, then I mean, all congratulations to them for choosing it.
So congratulations to them.
But would you like to comment on it?
Yes, actually, I asked my parents once that why did you keep this name, which is actually good, but why, how and how? And they told that it was like they went to see some program of Manade, where Manade was reciting some Bengali sonnets of Michael Madhusudandar. And from there they got this name and they wanted to keep some uncommon name and they kept it. But after many years it became like, there's just a coincidence.
That's amazing. Those sonnets are really very interesting. What might be
yeah, of course. And verse and new style of writing.
Yeah, so we did the Petrarchan sonnet.
And okay, to answer your question about political, so political consciousness came to me pretty early. I think 5th July 1977 there was a coup in Pakistan and my father was pushed out of the army because General Zia did not like secular people who were popular and very charismatic as my father was. Besides that, my uncles are all left-wing activists that, some of them spent a lot of time in and out of jails and were tortured, all of the rest of it. So I think that our house lived and breathed politics, especially left-wing politics. So I think it's inevitable that one grows up with a political consciousness. But I think the seminal event was my father's being pushed out and then struggling to find a job and us going from city to city and his being unemployed, and then finally he found a job in Malta. He couldn't find a job at 60. He was when he was pushed out. So then you are exposed to a different kind of atmosphere, and I think Malta was also going through some kind of political convulsion. So and then you're removed, so then you have just different perspective, going to school and over there. I finished my high school there.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for such interesting questions and deliberations. It made the session quite interactive. Tea has been arranged in the third floor foyer. I request everyone to join us there. Thank you. Have a great evening.